What's up, fam? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Phil Sarpon. This is Phil's Guide to PsyD. This channel is dedicated to all things clinical psychology. Today, we're going to be taking a look at how to craft a personal statement. So for anyone that is looking to apply to grad school, whether it's a clinical psychology program, whether it's a PsyD or even a PhD or a counseling psychology PhD, then this is going to be the video for you because we are going to go and break down basically part by part for some of the things that you should look into for writing your personal statement and how to craft a really good personal statement that is going to make yourself look really good for your application process. And so with that, we're just going to jump right into it. Here we go. All right, guys, so here we go. So I talked about this in past videos before, especially in the one that I did where I was talking about how to craft a CV for grad school, and I was just talking about how to Google some of these things up. And you know, when you Google some of these things up, there are so many things that come up. It's hard to figure out and sift through what personal statement to really go for. And so that's why I encourage you just to be wary of Google, because there's going to be all sorts of things that come up. Definitely, you know, if you can, contact students that already are in grad school, contact your professors, your faculty members for crafting a really good letter of recommendation, because there are so many things that are out there. Not all of them are great, not all of them are good, so you definitely have to sift through to find which one's going to be worthy. So what we're going to do, we're just going to jump right into a Google document that I have here, and we'll talk about some of the general themes that you can put. In no way, shape, or form do you have to answer all of these questions or put all of this content into your letter. But if some of these questions do spark some ideas for you, that's really the whole point, is to hopefully spark some ideas for you as you write your personal statement. I will also say that there are schools that give you a guide or a template of writing your personal statement. So there are some schools that will actually ask you specific questions, and you basically just have to answer the questions. And then it's pretty straightforward of what to put and how to put things and things like that. And you just have to have other people read over it just to make sure it looks good. But if there's a school that just says, hey, give us a personal statement, and you don't know where to start, well, hopefully this will kind of give you guys some ideas. All right, guys, so it's really important for you guys to make clear that what you talk about in your personal statement is information that the admissions people cannot gather from all your other application materials, right? They already have your GPA, they already have your GRE, they have your letter of recommendation, which basically your letter of recommendations are basically the thing that is clarifying and solidifying the things that you're saying in your personal statement, right? So if you talk about certain things in your personal statement, your letter writer is going to basically confirm that, yes, this person is who they are. But your personal statement really is crafting a story about who you are and telling it in a way that the admissions people can't really fully gather from your application materials. So you do want to make it personal, but you want something to hook them in. This is where you hook people in into seeing, wow, this is a really interesting person. They're different, they're unique, and we want to get to know them, right? Essentially, once they finish this personal statement, that's going to be the biggest determiner of like, wow, I actually want to meet this person in real life. Okay, so you are giving them a glimpse of who you are, a little bit of a taste of who you are, so that they are actually going to want to actually meet you in person. Okay, so the next thing we're going to go into is, why are you interested? Okay, so why are you interested in clinical psychology? Why this profession? What piqued your interest? How long have you had the interest? How did the passion build? What made you want to apply, right? This is sort of where you speak about your interest in psychology, where it started, how it's built, how it's gone on, the progression from an interest into a passion. You want to answer that technical interest of why psychology, okay? And then the next thing is, how do you know that this is a good fit for you? How do you know that this profession is a good fit for you? And this is where you start bringing in some of the things that are in your CV, right? You start talking about your professional experience. You start talking about your clinical experience. This is probably one of the most important things to talk about. So whether you have experience working in a mental health clinic or working volunteering with different mental health disorders or doing behavioral therapy or whatever it is, even not even just professional clinical experience, but even in your own self-reflection, your own characteristics of saying that, you know what, outgoing type of person and I connect well with people and I love relationships, what type of characteristics internally and even externally make this profession a good fit for you. So you want to paint the story of how you know that this would be a good fit for you. This is also a really good time to mention what professors in the faculty that you want to work with, right? So if this professor that is working in neuropsychology has a neuropsychology lab, you really want to work with them. You've read about their work. You're really excited to potentially collaborate with them. That's also a good indicator that you've done your research and that you're really interested in the specific school. And explain how this is a good fit for you by the experiences you've had or the type of person that you are. Here's the other thing too. This is also a really good time to talk about gaps in your GPA or difficulties or challenges that you've had academically or even in your own personal life. How have you overcame them? How has it impacted your decision and made you even more sure that this is what you want to do? I think when you paint this story of who you are, you're trying to connect to the admissions people of basically how you've progressed, how you've grown, how you've transformed, right? Where you're talking about who you are, you're talking about why you're interested, and you're talking about how this is what you want to do. The next thing is, what do you want to do in this career? What are you going to do with this career 5 to 10 years down the road? This is going to be good because it's going to help them to realize, like, okay, this person's actually thinking about the long-term goal of what they want to do. So do you want to teach? Do you want to do research, private practice, neuropsychology? This is where you differentiate between getting a PsyD or a PhD and just getting a master's in psychology, right? Because there's a lot of things you can do with a master's in psychology that you can also do with a doctorate. But like, how is a doctorate going to be the thing that you pursue that's going to help you to do the thing that you want to do, right? How have your professional and clinical experiences guided you in solidifying that this is really what you want to do for the rest of your life? So now you're really connecting your academic career to the long-term future goals and dreams and ambitions that you have, right? So I think this is a great time to bring it all the way through full circle of like, yes, this is where I see myself. And the last thing you want to do is connect with the school on a personal level. This is where you really have to do your research on the school. Most schools are going to have a mission statement, all right? Most schools, if you go into their website, they're going to have a mission statement of what they're passionate about, what they want to teach their students. If you can sort of craft a story or sort of have your own interest align with their interest, I mean, that's perfect because you want to make it a match on paper. For example, if your school is big on underserved communities, that's what they talk about on their websites. They have programs for that. They have clinical sites that talk about underserved communities. Then you talk about how you want to serve in the same way, or maybe you already are serving in the same way. And this is just something that you can do in a different way to help yourself in terms of your career. So you want to show the school that your passions, your goals, your aspirations, that they align perfectly with theirs. And that's a great match for you to be in their program. So sell your points in writing them and making them want to meet you in person for the interview. So just to kind of recap all of that, answer the question of who is this person, why are you interested in clinical psychology, how do you know this is a good fit for you? And then, of course, what do you want to do with this career? And then how do you want to connect with the school on a personal level? I think if you can do that, these are just some general guidelines for some things that you guys can think about in crafting a personal statement. Proofread, have other people read your personal statement for you, and really try and perfect this. You want to make sure that this is something that you're proud of when you do submit to the committee and to the admissions board. So that is it, guys. That is how to write a personal statement. All right, guys, so that was how to craft a personal statement. I just want to say these are some of my tips and guidelines, but in no shape, way, or form is this going to be necessarily the blueprint for everybody. I understand that everyone is going to craft their personal statement specifically for their program. So I definitely do recommend to get advice from faculty members or professors and have people read over your personal statement to make sure that it has everything that you need to make sure that you are fulfilling the requirements of the program that is requiring the personal statement. So definitely do your own diligence and homework into crafting this personal statement, but feel free to use some of my guidelines and tips. But with that, I wish you guys the best of luck for those that are applying to grad school this year. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next video.